I give you 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
All right, guys, welcome back. Hear Me Out podcast, joined as always, me and the homie Brooks. What's going on, Brody?
What's up, man? Thank you for having us for this interesting discussion.
Nah, man. Thank you for having us, man, because originally it was just going to be y'all two, man. But when I heard y'all were talking about Super League, I had to jump in here, man, because of how crazy the whole Super League thing is. Before we introduce that, let's go ahead and introduce our guest, one of our colleagues at the Mikasa Sukasa Network, Glory Jones. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Ready to talk about this.
For sure.
Yep. Podcasting guru over here. We got 3 podcasters in the building. We haven't done a little interview in a little while, so definitely nice to have you on. One of many, of course. But let's go ahead and jump right into this, man. So if anybody who watches sports, particularly soccer, they know just how corrupt the business side of soccer is, be it UEFA, FIFA, and now this latest thing here is actually taking place in Europe with the formation or attempted formation of the Super League, where they were trying to take the best teams in Europe and put them into a league and basically banish every other league and basically monopolize the whole entire European soccer game. It's crazy what's going on out there. We got 12 teams that were approved this move, that they wanted to be a part of it. They had 12 signatures in there, including Manchester United and Chelsea being 2 very notable ones. I just want to, before we get into that, are you guys surprised by this at all?
I mean, not really, just because like the greed of the owners of these football clubs and the fact that, like, you know, there was something that needed to be changed within like the football landscape and kind of shake it up a bit. And like the Super League was that attempt, kind of. I mean, the problem, one of the problems with the Super League was like, it was based like not on competition. It was based on like the biggest clubs and who had the biggest global fan base. So like from that standpoint, it would be beneficial, but at the same time, like, would it really help if it was so not based in competition? Like the fact that Arsenal was in the Super League over Bayern Munich should tell you it's not based on competition.
Brooks, man, how does this, what's your initial reaction to the news of the Super League? We're going to break it down a little more, but I wanted to just get your guys' initial reactions on it.
My initial reaction was just, at first I saw the notification on ESPN. I'm like, Super, what? This is, I hate this take, or I don't like the idea at all. I mean, again, you're literally just getting the 12 richest franchises, clubs in football and soccer together to just have a club that you're not invited in. You know, and it's basically stripping away the spirit of the sport by taking away competition and, again, just monopolizing you know, the sport to just make sure that you get the money, make sure that you get the broadcasting deals. Business wise, fan wise, terrible move. I hope that, you know, UEFA, the Champions League, you know, Premier League, whatever, they continue to fight it, because terrible idea.
Yeah, and it's crazy. This whole deal went down in 48 hours. They were talking about making it happen, and then just like that, it was done with. So just for a little extra background here, this is supposed to be the billion-dollar Super League or multi-billion-dollar Super League with the best teams, like you guys were saying, zero competition whatsoever, composed of American hedge fund investors, Russian oligarchs, European industrial tycoons. They were trying to seize control of the world's most popular sport with this Super League. So basically what we have here, the first thing that I found super interesting, Barcelona, it was the president of Barcelona and a Spanish, let's see, we got the Spanish lawyer who's also the president of Liga Nacional de Futbol Profesional, and a Spanish politician who is the president of FC Barcelona, Javier Tebas and Joan Laporta, respectively. And they were trying to have this little secret lunch and they were reaching out to a bunch of people in the European football community, trying to see who's down for an idea like this. It wasn't the first time that they tried to form, I guess, what you would call is a super league. They've teetered with this idea before, and this time it seemed like it had more traction going. Like it seemed like something that might actually come from it. And before you know it, I really don't. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Alexander Seferin. Alexander Seferin, 53-year-old lawyer from Slovenia, the president of European soccer's governing body. He was the one that basically deaded this whole entire thing and called a bunch of these people, a bunch of the executives leading the Super League, snakes and liars. Again, like what Glory was saying, bunch of greedy ass MFs trying to monopolize. And it only took a few weeks. It only took 2 days, actually, not a few weeks, 2 days.
Literally.
It took 2 days for this whole thing to come crashing down. And to make matters even crazier, you have Seferin's close friend, Andrea Agnelli, the president and chairman of Juventus, one of the bigger clubs in Italy. That was supposed to be his boy, his close friend, close business partner, but he actually knew about all this. He was keeping it under the wraps, and it all came crashing down, guys. So is this not something that could just happen again in like a couple of years? What's stopping this? What's stopping these people from just letting things cool down and trying again in a couple of years?
I mean, I don't know what could be stopping them other than the fans, because obviously, like, the fact that all this was done in secret is one of the main reasons why so many fans and like older legends were pissed off, really. I mean, that's why all the Premier League teams dropped out. All 6 of them dropped out within like a day, because fans were literally protesting their involvement in the Super League. So, I mean, I think that's the one thing that's preventing it, because now you have not only fans protesting the Super League, but you also have fans like using this as kind of an extra push to get rid of these greedy owners. I mean, like, I can speak from the Man United side, but Ed Woodward, who's like our general manager guy, resigned, and
Effectively by
thank
the end of
God.
2021 too.
I know. And we hate him too. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to see him gone. And then we're going to try to get the Glazers out next, because those are our like American. I know I say that like I'm an American, but like, yeah, they're American. So they don't have the same ties to the club that like people in Manchester do. But like, so the next big push is going to be to get like these corporate greedy owners out.
So you said Man U or Man City?
Man U, United,
Man U,
Manchester's
got you.
red. Manchester's red.
Got you. So you're a Man U. Oh, so this you must have seen this and been like, oh nah, what is going on out there?
Yeah, I mean, like, because I was super supportive of like all the protests happening. Like, when I found out that there were actually like fans protesting, I was like, yes. Like, if it's something where if I was there, I would definitely be one of the first people to go and cover it, like as an indie journalist, because it's really awesome to me to see fan activism, because it's in its own way protesting the establishment and protesting corporate greed. So when I saw like United fans using the Super League as a push to really get rid of our owners and kind of try to make the team like less of this like corporate greedy and just bastardized version of like Man United that we've seen in the past couple of years, then like that made me very excited.
And just
Right,
speaking
and-
of Ed Woodward and just the disaster that Man U has as like an ownership group, you know, Ed Woodward used to be a JP Morgan guy. JP Morgan is actually backing this whole Super League thing. I was just reading that JP Morgan is going to be loaning these franchises 4.3 billion pounds just to start this league up. Again, you know, it's another thing of like American greed really trying to destroy sports from across the world. And I just wanted to ask you just how terrible is it for you as a fan to see just more American greed, more American just I don't know, not understanding to destroy this sport and destroy, a league that's, traditionally been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I'll be upfront with this, and that like I'm not mad in the same way that like someone from Manchester was, just because like, I am in the global fan base, but it's still like I could still feel like that whole sense of betrayal almost, just because like Man United is something that's so tied with like the city of Manchester, with their women's team, who's doing great, by the way, with their women's team, with their 17 and under teams, with their academy. Like we have players now like Marcus Rashford, who came through the Man United training academy, and Mason Greenwood as well, who's like our youngest striker we have. And so there's all these ties that Man United has built up with the actual city of Manchester. And to see them kind of really get ready to abandon that over this Super League, which catered mostly to really elites and people who just wanted to see big clubs like play each other, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But when it's not based on competition, it's like at some point it's going to get very stale and it's going to get very like non-competitive. So to see a team get ready to abandon what they've built up with their local community is where I really see a lot of frustration, and where I almost get angry myself thinking about that, because that would be like, I don't know, like that would be like the Miami Heat doing the same thing. Like I would be fucking pissed.
Let's take it back just a little bit. So for those that don't know Glory, she's always active at these protests. That's one thing that I think is really cool, that you're always out there and you're always reporting on things like this. And now we have these protests in Manchester. I wanted to just ask, what are your ties with Manchester? What drew you to? Are you from there, or what's the history with Glory Jones and Manchester United?
I mean, so there's not really any. I've always liked the Premier League, just because I thought it was like fun to watch. And then the reason why I started supporting Man United in like kind of late 2000s, right before 2010, was because I was also a huge Usain Bolt fan. So, and Usain Bolt's favorite team is Man United.
Nice.
So when I saw him supporting Man United, I was like, because I didn't really have any team I supported, I just really enjoyed watching it. And then, so, when I saw like one of my favorite athletes of all time supporting Man United, I was like, okay, that's my team too. And then it just kind of grew from there, and I followed them even more. And we picked up some players that I liked. Like we used to have Ronaldo. Those games were amazing to watch. Like
back in the day,
like Man United Ronaldo was like, he was dangerous. That's all I'll say. Yeah, he was definitely different. Like he wasn't like the super refined, 54-hour core workouts Ronaldo that you see today at Juventus, but like he was just like a bad man back at Man United. So yeah, I had a lot of, and I got to watch us when we had Zlatan, and now we've got like Pogba and Bruno Fernandes and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and like and Marcus Rashford as well, and Martial, and like I love watching the team. I fostered like an attachment through the team, just like, even though my initial history with them isn't much of a foundation, but like I really kind of grew with them from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here we are again with yet another scandal in the world of soccer. We had the 2015 incident with FIFA, where 14 people were indicted with the connection with, what was it, wire fraud, racketeering, money laundering. The IRS and the FBI just swooped in on that. The UEFA as well. They had the former FIFA president was investigated for corruption, and about the 2022 World Cup to Qatar, and this one is super up there. I would even say this might be crazier than the other two. Obviously, there's no arrests or anything like that. But what they had planned, they were about to destroy basically 85% of European soccer, and it was only going to benefit, like we were saying, a handful of teams. You had a lot of players, coaches, and here's another thing I found interesting. And I was looking at an article reading about this stuff. They were concerned because they didn't seem like they were catering to anybody other than they weren't trying to cater to people. They weren't trying to cater to players. They weren't trying to cater to coaches, only to the people with the money, only with the elites, like you were saying. So
it's interesting that you mentioned that too. Again, there's three owners, three GMs that you can really point to for this deal: the Glazer family and Ed Woodward, who's leaving, John Henry at Liverpool, and Stan Clark. And again, it just seems like these American owners, American ownership groups want to just take away the sport from like working class fans and working class people that really love this game and really help to actually make soccer what it is globally. Pedro, how annoying is that for you to see? Just like, because I know you're a Brazilian soccer fan, and like you're not as involved with the sport as you used to be. But like, if you saw like the New York Giants doing this, like, what would your reaction be?
Bro, if the New York Giants were, first of all, man, I would be flattered if we were in talks to be in any Super League, anything, man. We're terrible right now, but I mean, you just don't want to see this in any sport, man. Honestly, if we're being real though, to answer that last question, man, I would be flattered that we were thought to be one of the better teams, but at the same time, you have to think about how that affects everybody else. I just don't want to see this kind of shit in the game, man. You want to see competition. You want to see different teams that were going through slumps arise from those slumps. You don't want to see the same team every single year. It's bad for viewership. You had, my brother was telling me, we were talking about this, right? The reason he doesn't watch sports like that anymore, particularly American sports like football and baseball, or no, not football and baseball, football and basketball. You got teams like the Golden State Warriors. You got teams like the New England Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs. There's no parity. There's no competition. So when you want to stack the deck up even more, there's already not too much parity in a lot of these European leagues, specifically La Liga, Champions League. You already know the cream of the crop is going to be every year, and they got the money to get whoever they want, right? Why do you never see any South American players staying in South America? Because they don't have the funds to keep these players around. Europe they got the bag to keep them, bring them over there. So we don't want to see the deck so stacked that we already know what's going to happen. You're not going to go watch the Demon Slayer movie if you've seen a bunch of spoilers, right? You want to have some type of element of surprise, some type of parody.
I read the manga, so I already know what's going to happen, and I'm still going to see it.
Well, I guess I didn't think about that one too much, but you get my point. You get my point.
Yeah, I do.
What about you, Brooks? Yeah. What if Washington was in that same mix? How would you feel about that?
The Washington football team somehow decided again. I feel like Dan Snyder would have to leave in order for that to happen, in order for like the team and the GMs and all that to actually play up to their potential. Because again, they were 7-9 this season. To be a part of the Super League would be pretty cool, but like again, I'd rather see everybody play against each other and actually compete for a Super Bowl title instead of just like monopolizing everything. I don't know. Again, like I said before, it's just a bad look to me.
I mean, like, you love the competition, like you love the underdog stories. Like, it's like, how are you going to have an underdog in a Super League when everybody's like the top dog of their league? Or like for real. And I mean, like, it might be fun to see like, oh, Man United versus Real Madrid. Like, Like, that sounds dope to me if it happened in the Champions League, where I knew it happened after group stages and after like advancing through the tournament. But I just feel like, despite how much we love the teams and like despite how cool it would be to see them involved in something at this stage, there's a part of you that still wants that like competition, because that's the best part of sports. It's like even when I'm not watching like a Miami Heat game and I don't want them to win, like I just want the game to be good. I want the game to be competitive.
And
Like,
that's why you see I don't know how to pronounce the title or the names, like Leicester
oh,
FC.
Leicester
Yeah, Leicester
City.
when they won the Premier League, when you see like let's say from the NCAA tournament, like Oral Roberts being able to get to like the Sweet 16, that's what you enjoy about sports, and like that's what everybody's saying here for sure. Pedro, I'll hand it off to you after that comment.
So basically, one thing that I think we kind of even overstated a little bit, the whole 2 days it took for this whole thing to fold. Realistically, it actually only took 10 minutes, because at 11 p.m. on Sunday, an official announcement was published to 12 different teams' websites, the teams that were signed up to be what was going to be called the Super League. And I don't who was it here? The basically the powers that be had that dead in the water by 11:10 p.m. That's what they say. That's what they say, right? So we take that with a grain of salt. But either way, this was never gonna. Well, that's the thing. We don't know about never. I don't want to say the word never, because that means it will absolutely never happen. But these are the kind of things where it's like, who's to, like I said to you guys before, who's to say that they won't just cool it down, see how else can they exploit the rules, and then just try again in a couple of years. This is something that I'm sure that they all think about doing, that they all would love to happen. Let's just get rid of all these. I can't even name the lower European teams, because we don't know them. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe Glory might know, or maybe you might know them, Brooks, but we only know the Chelseas, the Manchester Uniteds, right? They're literally going to banish these other smaller teams. I hope it doesn't happen ever, but we just have to wait and see, I guess.
I mean, I think, just to speculate purely, I think if they do try something like this again, assuming the owners aren't gone by then, like I think if they do try something like this again, it'll be after the 2022 World Cup.
Yep.
Just because you're not gonna mess with FIFA during the World Cup.
Nope. And
Laura,
just to piggyback off that, before I let you go, Brooks, my bad. The World Cup, FIFA will never ever compromise anything for the World Cup. And I know this personally. When I went to Brazil in 2014, when they were having the World Cup out there, visiting family and coinciding with the World Cup, we saw just how beautiful the country was. Because they prepared for a lot of outsiders to come there. So everything was set up in the main places, like in Rio, in the tourist attraction places. It was all set up, very nicely done. And then you just go a little bit down the street to the favelas, everything trashed. Not that favelas are never really too nice anyways, but everything else outside of tourist attractions were absolutely destroyed, demolished.
That's how it is here in LA.
It's crazy.
Like, the arena looks all nice and stuff, and it looks real good when you fly over it. But like, you take a little walk to the side, and next thing you know, you'll see like a homeless encampment.
Yeah,
that always seems to happen with like the Olympic
crazy.
and FIFA competition, or Olympic and World Cup competitions, because they're gonna want to like size or amp up everything around it, and then make sure, and then like everything else suffers. And this is it's really sad to see, because I hate it.
My guy or gal, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and share this video for the latest on sports, progressive politics, and pop culture.